Man, House Flipper is such a fun game. Who knew that fixing and decorating houses could be so much fun? But, you know what they say, you can always add more to a fun game. Or at least that's the excuse I'm making to segue this video. Anyways, here are 7 ideas that I want added into House Flipper as DLC updates. I want the ability to edit house profiles, specifically the houses that I own. I want to rename them, edit the descriptions, and replace the old photos with new ones. Let me tell you, it's pretty tiresome seeing the same old photos of the house before it was renovated. Not to mention that it could potentially be a bit confusing for players to remember which house was which. But who would view these edited profiles other than me and the viewers who are recording and streaming this game? Well, what if we added this? I think a majority of people will agree with me on this. I want multiplayer, both local and online. It can work both cooperatively and competitively, like this. So for co-op, 2 or more players can do the same job. They can work together fixing up the house and get paid the same amount of money. One person can focus on painting the walls, and another person can set up the furniture. Granted, one could slack off while the others do most of the work and still get paid the same amount. But I think it's very important for house flippers to learn that working together can get the job done much faster. On the competitive side, players can compete in who can fix up the house faster. The first person to finish their house wins and you earn money. How about letting other players visit your houses? And maybe you can even sell or trade each other's houses. I'm sure implementing multiplayer would take a long time, but it would be very beneficial to players, and it would help teach them the power of teamwork. If Jack had friends to help fix up the house, maybe then he would complete his jobs 100% without whining and complaining.
I'm going insane! This is a game for insane people!
I'm Amanda. I like to have my walls painted amaranth, a color that no one has ever heard of or ever painted anything ever.
It's just fucking slightly pink red, Amanda.
I want to interact with more objects. The list of things we can interact with are very small. I want to lay down on a bed so I can skip to either day or night. Or I want to ride on a carousel. Or heck, I want to play on the swings. Give us these options so we can have more incentive to purchasing and building these things other than decorations. I want writable signs in the game. Now before you say, why don't you just use the painting feature instead? I don't want my hard drive to be filled with simple text. It's only reserved for my artwork. I want the signs to be implemented like the ones in Minecraft. Having signs is very beneficial to labeling rooms and areas. Heck, maybe even have some story elements to it. I want a weather system, like rain and snow, that can work either in game time or in real time. There are people who do enjoy days that are either raining or snowing. It would also be interesting if you had to dig up the snow, or else your running speed will decrease when walking through the snow. I want to create my own backyard railway. And before you ask, yes, there are people who have built their own railways in their own backyard. I want to have a good list of rideable locomotives, rolling stock, and buildings to look through and utilize. I know it probably looks like that I want to go back and play trains, but this is far from it. Trust me. I want more houses to flip. I want tree houses, apartments, condos, hotels, amusement parks, international houses, castles, headquarters, hideouts, boats, airships, and haunted houses. I know the idea of flipping apartments and condos would take a very long time to fix up, but that's where multiplayer comes in. And it would also be very beneficial to players who are very tired of doing the same job over and over again just to grind for money. Buyers can live in the units and pay rent on a monthly basis. And if you decide to remove their furniture, they will get mad and decide to leave. Even other players could live in the units and potentially have to pay rent too. Same thing with hotels, but the buyers can only stay temporarily. But the bill is way more expensive than the apartments and condos. If you think the idea of flipping an amusement park sounds crazy, well, get ready for me to blow your mind. First off, this game is far from realism with the inclusion of Cyberpunk DLC. And secondly, the late but great Michael Jackson once had an amusement park in his backyard. So yeah, overall, the idea of flipping an amusement park is not that far-fetched. As for international houses, I want to live in a Japanese house. Well, because I'm Japanese. I'm fine with what I have, but I would like to live in an actual Japanese house. It sucks that I cannot replace the doors with sliding doors. The Japanese garden was nice, but that was only one small thing, and it cannot even be replicated. So here's hoping that they'll actually implement foreign houses, which of course includes Japanese houses. And finally, for the haunted house, think of it like Super Mario Maker. Players can build the houses like a maze that's filled with puzzles to solve, traps to avoid, and ghosts to suck up with the vacuum. All for players to enjoy. And at the end of the maze, they're rewarded with whatever prize you decide to set, whether it be a free piece of furniture or just money. It sure is a creative way of utilizing houses for other things besides show and tell. And those are my 7 ideas that I want added into House Flipper as DLC updates. Let me know what you think of them in the comments down below. And I shall see you all next time on Ramen Train. Bye bye.